Hi, everyone, and thank you so very much to the Boozy book lovers community for your incredible support of the Yonan saga. I am truly grateful for the thoughtful questions you've submitted. They show that how deeply you've connected to the story, something I've desired since the concept and deeply wanted along the winding and sometimes treacherous road to arrive at this very destination. Today, I'll be sharing my replies in a way that condenses the questions into groups. This helped me address common themes together while still honoring the unique curiosities behind each one. The concepts reviewed are inspiration, character development, world building, themes, the head ruler, supporting characters, plots, and writing process. So let's begin behind the inspiration of the saga. For these questions and answers, I'm going to go ahead and provide you the name of the person that asked the question and provide you with a summary of what the question was. Amelia, creative spark behind Jan and Bo's summons and why it begins the saga. Samuel, how long it took for the world to form after mishearing the documentary narrative. Rowan, first image, emotion when the name Jan and Bo struck you. Nora, how you keep the original spark alive while expanding into the saga. Miles, what surprised you the most about developing the world from one misheard name? Reed, when you realized it would be a multiple book saga instead of a standalone. Inspiration and creative spark reply. The Yanabo saga began with a spark, a misheard name that instantly carried weight and mystery. From that moment, images of a healer caught in a summons unfolded in my mind. What surprised me most was how quickly the single spark grew into a layered world and consumed my very own. My first vision of Yanabo happened in 2017. I kept the inspiration alive by returning to the original feelings of curiosity and inevitability, by expanding my own knowledge of the people and the time periods that influenced me, even as the story expanded into multiple book saga, which I didn't see coming until I began writing the world of Jan and Bo and it expanded. Still, I continue to study subjects that will enhance the journey. Readers can expect the same sense of discovery to remain at the heart of the journey. Many of you asked about Jan and Bo himself. Jordan, personal qualities that make Jan and Bo stand out. Naomi, themes of reluctant leaders and impact on future books. Ariel, motivations for Jan and Bo suspicious towards the head ruler. Daniel, internal struggles between proving worth and protecting people. Jasmine, moment revealing Jan and Bo's vulnerabilities. Maya, his rise to leadership, fate, coincidence, or manipulation. Clara, how Jan and Bo will evolve by the end of the saga. Stella, ambition versus genuine care for people. Celeste, personal sacrifices healers faced and how they shaped Jan and Bo. Character development, Jan and Bo reply. Jan and Bo stands out because of his quiet resilience and his reluctance to lead. He is deeply loyal, yet skeptical of authority, which makes his path both relatable and fraught with tension. His suspicious nature is a reflection upon what he has seen firsthand. The mistreatment of his brother Kinolo, especially from Jimon. the adjutant and second in command. His internal struggle mirrors the sacrifice healers must make in this world. The journey itself affords him an opportunity of proving his worth while protecting others. Necessary steps to becoming the head healer, a position he knows he will inherit someday. He must be ready to fulfill the healer's prime objective: always put the needs of the people first. Yanobo's vulnerability surfaces in moments of doubt, but they also reveal his humanity. Whether his is fate, coincidence, or manipulation is part of the mystery. I'll let you decide, but his evolution will be profound by the saga's end. While several questions focused on the great city and big mountain, world building and setting. Sophia, historical world events influencing the great city's failing defenses. Isaac, historical eras and documentaries influencing the great city's structure. Victor, civilizations or leaders inspiring the political system. Ethan, inspiration for big mountain setting. Micaiah, pacing and severity of the big mountain hazard. Owen, designing hazards for physical, emotional conflict. Felix, big mountain as symbolic reflections of Jan and Bo's struggle. And Leo, how did you develop the healing system in your world? And what else is it set apart from other fantasy systems readers may be familiar with? World building and setting reply. The great city's political atmosphere draws from numerous historical collapses of power struggles, shaped by eras where leadership faltered under pressure, like the Mongolian and Roman Empire, like the Egyptian line of pharaohs, and the dynasties of the Chinese era. Meanwhile, Big Mountain is both physically trial and a symbolic mirror of Yanobo's inner climb. Its hazards were designed to test the body and spirit, echoing real world natural challenges but heightened for narrative tension. Every setting from the city's defensive to the mountain's ascent reflects the fragile of humanity's ambitious against forces larger than ourselves. The healing elements began as an early concept, a polar opposite needed to combat the harsh realities of nature itself, skills essential for survival. I borrowed heavily from the natural remedies of the Native American peoples for guidance. Still, others wanted to explore the themes of symbolism. Marcus, emotional tone intended for the great city's threat. Elena, messages about dangerous missions disguised as loyalty tests. Hugo, what readers should feel first when the story opens. Adeline, one main antagonist versus a web of corruption. Zara, influence of crime dramas, thrillers on pacing and suspense. Karen, what readers should feel at the end of part one. Themes and symbolism reply. The saga explores loyalty, corruption, and the cost of leadership. The city's looming threat was meant to evoke suspense and unease, but also curiously about deeper forces at play. The dangerous mission, disguised as a loyalty test, was more so a way to eliminate those who posed a threat or were seen as an obstacle. The removal of the healers and guards, whether permanently or just for the time being, was a calculated move. Highlight how trust can be weaponized. Readers shouldn't expect just one antagonist. The story expands far beyond the known web of corruption influencing events. My love of thrillers, mysteries have helped shape the pacing, ensuring tension builds steadily. By the end of part one, I hope readers feel compelled to continue, pulled by worry, curiosity, and the promise of more. But fair warning, Book 2, The Dreamer, has a few scenes that would qualify for an R rating. And of course, the head ruler drew some attention. Caleb, reader suspicious about the head ruler's motives. Tessa, shaping the head ruler's personality, manipulative, desperate, complex. Head ruler and leadership reply. The head ruler was intentionally layered, very manipulative at times and desperate at others, but always believable. At least, I hope so. Rodar's background and rise to power revealed the troubling history defined by his relationships with his brother and his eventual descent into paranoid rule. Born from the main wife and former ruler, Matthew, Rodar's earlier life was marked by growing up in the shadow of his brother Sato, the one that was groomed to lead next. This difficult sibling dynamic often led Rodahor to take out his anger and frustration on the healers, in his view, his lesser half siblings. Also, a few wonderful questions about the healers, guards, and their relationships. Lena challenges writing interactions between healers and guards. Oliver, characters who unexpectedly took larger roles. Jonah, relationships amongst healers and guards that will become significant. Vivian, influence of Nymeria and Hodor are bonds between characters. Supporting characters and relationships reply. Writing the healers and guards was a challenge, but each voice was given distinct traits to avoid blending. Some characters grew unexpectedly in importance as the story unfolded, stepping into larger roles than planned. Tywir being one of them. The bonds between certain characters, especially under pressure, act as a framework of sorts and become increasingly significant, shaping the saga's emotional core. I have to admit, Vivian, your question puzzles me the most, but it affords me an opportunity to reveal a writing secret. The full question Vivian asks: have Nymeria and Hodor ever influenced how you write bonds between characters, especially in moments of tension and uncertainty? Well, Nymeria and Hodor are actually my dogs, and I would have to say they have influenced me in many ways, but the bonds between characters within Book 1 is not one of them. However, their names are what I did use. Unsure if you're familiar with the novel series versus the TV show, but the world of Ice and Fire Saga is where you will find my inspirations for their names, uh, such as Hodor. Well, Hodor's Hodor. But my little guy is just that, a toy poodle terrier mix, and just the sweetest little boy, nothing like his counterpart, Rodahar. While Nymeria is not named after Arya's direwolf, but the same character she used as her inspiration for the name. Queen Nymeria of the Rhaenyra, Princess of Dorne. And she is every bit that name. A dachshund spaniel mix. A very pretty and sweet, unless you're another dog, a cat, a mouse, a squirrel, a rabbit, or a bird. Then she'll tear you apart, or at least she wants to. Instinct is very strong within her, a trait I use later on in Book 3, A Seer's Past, where you'll be introduced to additional characters inspired by her name. All of the animals I have known from my life are named in some way or fashion within the story, mostly used for their names of the rulers of the past. I found it a fun way to incorporate a naming system. I used similar methods for the majority of the names. It's a big world. I didn't want to auto-generate system. I wanted something that felt more related within the society. Some of you asked about the structure of the plot and foreshadowing. Harper, clues scattered about the mission's true nature. Riley, atmosphere of security and surrounding the mission. Daphne, deciding what details of the city's doom to reveal now and versus later. Ivy, foreshadowing in the first book. Plot and story structure reply. Clues about the mission's true nature were scattered deliberately, subtle enough for the observant reader to catch. The secrecy surrounding the mission was crafted to evoke paranoia and suspicion, balanced with a moment of hope. A careful deciding which details of the city's impending doom to reveal now, saving others for later installments. Readers should pay close attention to the foreshadowing in part one. Small details will echo loudly in future books. Finally, I'll touch on the writing process and the emotional challenges I faced. Gavin, most emotional, challenging scene to write. The writing process and emotional challenge reply. The most emotionally challenged scene were those where sacrifice and vulnerability collided. Moments where characters had to confront loss, doubt, or betrayal. Those scenes demand honesty, and they remain some of the most powerful in the saga. Ask me again the same question once you've completed your read of book two. I'll provide a deeper and more personal response. I hope these answers provide you more insight into the heart of the Yonan saga. If I didn't cover something fully, please feel free to comment below. I'd be more than happy to respond directly. I would love to do this again for book two. I'm excited to continue building this community with all of you. Thank you again for your time, your questions, and your support. I'm extremely appreciative. It is my pleasure to share with you this journey. If you'd like to learn more, please explore my YouTube channel where I continue to share updates, behind the scenes insights, and even more about the saga. Until next time, thank you for being part of this adventure. Bye now.